And three, two, one. Hello and welcome back to another edition of A Humanistic Perspective. As always, I am your host, Chad Castilla. And folks, do I have another banger of an episode for you? I'm so stoked to be adding more musicians and artists and creatives to the repertoire of guests on this show. And today, I have not another disappointer in the books. He is a producer. He is a tech house DJ. He's resident in Columbus. He's featured at all the major clubs right now. He's got a new single called Crossfader that just came out, and he's a man controlled by the groove. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am joined with Govan Jones. Govan, how are you, my man?
I'm doing good, man. It's funny you say a man controlled by the groove, because that's how I feel, man. I'll be locked in.
Hell yeah. I'm mad respect that. And even too, like, I want to share a little bit before we even get into your backstory, how I even got introduced to you and hooked onto your sound and your ability. And that was way back when I was in college, right?
Yeah,
and
I was
looking to produce a little EDM festival at our school. And I was looking for DJs who were in the Columbus area, who were in the Cleveland area. I wanted guys that were local. And I found your sound and your mixtapes on SoundCloud. And just the way that your ability to hear house and your ability to put together a set that not only blended your original sounds, but also blended, sounds that have cherished and so long been a part of the community of house and what is tech house. It really drew me into being like, God damn, I feel like I'm at home. I feel like I'm back in Chicago, and I knew I had to hear you and had to have you come on out. And when you perform, man, when I saw you live, like your energy, your craftsmanship, your ability to work a crowd, all of it, it was just stunning. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about that story and say thank you, man, for even doing what you do.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I feel like that was one of my first, like, I think that was definitely like the first show that I was like booked as headlining.
No way.
But like, yeah, I was like just getting started then, man. Like I was playing like, we had like a weekly thing called Thump. And
Okay.
I would play that, and it was just like a little like Wednesday thing we did. And then I had like a couple parties I was throwing, but that was really before I even started getting too much going as far as like playing in the clubs and direct support sets and stuff like that. So that was kind of like just a little taste for me, like traveling
100%.
and going to go play a show. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can do something with this.
Hell yeah. So I wanted to get back into your backstory. Where does Govan begin? Where does your life take you? Are you always from Columbus area? Sort of give me a little bit of your upbringing. What was that like?
Well, I was born in Chester, PA, which is like right outside of Philly.
Okay, cool.
But I moved to Columbus when I was real young. I want to say like four or five.
Wow.
So I've been in this area most of my life. I went to school in Westerville. And then when I graduated, I went to DC for a year. I went to Howard University and ended up dropping out of there and coming back home and graduating from Ohio State.
Hell yeah.
And back then I was rapping.
No way, really?
Yeah, that was really what I did. Like from, I want to say like 7th grade through, what year was that when I kind of retired? It was like 2012, I want to say. So
wow.
Yeah, that was my main thing, man. It was for a long time.
What did you know? Like, were you always like into music in school and stuff? Like, how did you know that? Did you at least know that you wanted to be an artist even when you were done rapping? Sort of, what was that headspace like?
I mean, well, it started like with your typical like young writing poetry type stuff, and just like venting, like it was saying a lot of crazy shit that that I'm glad I wasn't able to like tweet or nothing back then, because like it was just like real fucking angsty,
Sure.
But it was one of those things that I like threw myself into, so like as it started to grow and through like high school, we would battle all the time. I would record mixtapes at home and come to school and sell them and whatnot.
What was your first mixtape? Do you remember the name of it?
Ooh, I don't know. I know I had a bunch my senior year. I know I had one called No Identity. Okay. What were the other ones? I can't even think of the names of that. that shit feels like 3 lifetimes ago, man. Like,
dude, I still feel you.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was a lot of fun, and it was one of those things that I got really good at it, And so it became something that I wanted to do.
Were you
And my
producing your own beats when you were making those mixtapes?
well, the mixtapes were mostly like beat jacking mixtapes. So I would
Okay.
be, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yep.
rapping about other people's stuff. But I did have a Yamaha motif, and I did make beats, and
Oh yeah.
what did I? Oh, I put an album out my senior year that was like all original shit.
No
Where me
kidding.
and the homies made on the beach, and it was called Fahrenheit 614. And it was like the cover was like me on fire, you know, fitted cap backwards and shit, like
Oh yeah.
like just straight up like amateur Photoshop shit, you know.
Yep.
But like we were doing like showcases and stuff back then. I had a manager my senior year,
No kidding.
and we actually ended up opening up for Diddy's group that he did making the band.
No
They
way.
did a show in Steubenville, and so this was my it's either junior or senior year. We went in there, did our show, and the crowd, because it was, you know, it was a bunch of kids, because it was like in Steubenville, so most of the high school kids and whatnot,
Yeah.
and they treated us like we were the fucking headliner. That shit was nuts. Like
That's
people was taking
wild.
pictures and shit, screaming. You know what I'm saying? Like it was really insane. And like we had some stuff going. And then I ended up going off to school at Howard, and you know a
Mhm.
bunch of shit went down. Life happens, you know.
Yeah. What were you studying there? Like, what were you planning to do there
Oh, it was
before you
just like
came?
fucking business management. It was like it was
Okay.
literally going to DC to chase this dream, and that was a placeholder. I had a full ride, so it was like, bet we can go out here and do that, try to make these moves, you know.
Yeah.
And it was like it was real tough, man, because going out
Mhm.
there on scholarship and whatnot, it's not like I didn't have money, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I wasn't going out there with money, and DC is not a cheap place to be,
I
you
can
know. So
imagine.
like most of my time was spent in my dorm room, you know, making beats and recording shit and trying to do that. And then I ended up leaving because it just really wasn't a good fit for me, you know.
100%.
And so I came back and did the scene in Columbus for a while, you know, did the showcases. They did like some Summer Jam 614 type stuff.
So, like,
Um,
did at this point were you producing your own music doing during those like summer jams?
no, so by the time I had come back to Columbus, I came back and like sold my equipment and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
way.
I
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
and sold my equipment. I needed money,
Yeah.
just, you know,
Sure.
trying to get on my feet and whatnot. But I was still rapping. I had my buddy Matt Sucker. He was producing a lot of my stuff. I did some songs with AU, Rashad, and the Third, and some of the guys from Columbus. I
Oh,
did some
yeah.
stuff with them. But it really just like got to a point where I didn't feel like I was making the music for the same reason that people were, you know what I'm saying, enjoying the
Mm,
music or looking for the music. And so it really
right.
wasn't fun like that to me. So I did one last album and then kind of just like hung it up
Yeah.
and immediately like started playing guitar and doing like the singer-songwriter shit.
Hell
Like,
yeah. You're like, I
like
want to
it's
get really intimate with the
I
instruments.
mean, like I've always been it's always been something like I have to create, you know, like I don't
Yeah.
it's
What do you think happened in your life, or like what compels you to have that feeling of always wanting to create? Like, where did that come from, do you think?
um I honestly don't know. Like I feel like it started like when I was younger, just doing it to do it. You know what I'm saying? Then as it became a
Yeah.
thing, and it was like, all right, well, if I can make this happen, I ain't gotta go through this fucking rat race. All these people are going through that fucking sucks. It looks stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
100%.
like I've never wanted to participate in this fucking go to work shit. You know, like
Yes.
that's never been something I wanted to do. You know, so it was kind of one of those things that was like fed into each other. You know, like
Cool.
as I got better at it, it
Yeah.
becomes something you do. You know, like you're a kid, you start out playing Madden, right? And you play Madden so
Mm,
much, and now you're whooping everybody's ass, and you end up in a Madden league, right? And then
right.
esports comes out, and now you're doing esports, and you're trying to get paid for that because you just happen to be good at it, and now it's become so integral to who you know what I'm saying, who you are and what you do, that um it's just there, you know. So like
That's beautiful.
it's always been there for me, and I feel like the reason I was willing to quit rapping was because I had started playing guitar in
Mhm.
the meantime. And so it was like I can throw this shit away and then move
You
on. And
still,
I
yeah,
still
you had like
have
another
an
outlet.
outlet. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
still have an outlet. And so I did that for I want to say, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, and
Is
was
any
doing
of
like
this
open
music
mics.
published? Can you hear any of this
Oh,
music with you just playing
you
guitar?
can probably look up Govan Jones on YouTube and see me singing my fucking heart out.
Okay, bet.
Yeah. So I mean, like I was writing songs and, you know, doing open mics and um opening up for people. There was a couple shows where my buddies were playing shows, and I was, on the bill with them. And then I was in a relationship where I kind of just like stopped playing, and it wasn't necessarily like intentional. They just, I don't know, it was weird. There wasn't really room for it. We moved in together, and it was one of those things that like playing guitar and writing was such an intimate thing that it was really hard for me to
Yeah, you didn't
have
have
the
like
writing
that
process
space.
and practicing, you know what I'm saying, with someone else. Like it's
Yep.
one thing to go perform, but you know what I'm saying, when you're working through shit and you're doing it to fuck up for a while, you know what I'm saying?
Literally,
Like,
no, I've always said that too. Like the it's almost easier to perform to an audience of that no one knows you, but like to
yeah,
perform to someone or to be in your intimate space where you're like, okay, this isn't ready yet for people to see,
yeah,
and to have someone you know whose opinion matters to you be
yeah,
around, so different.
yeah,
Changes the game.
yeah, yeah. So
100%.
I mean, like it kind of fizzled out, and I started bartending.
Mm,
And so I kind of just like started partying, and you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And a buddy of mine came back and was like, dude, you have to go to Electric Forest. So I was like, what the fuck is that?
It's
You know
in
what I'm
Michigan,
saying?
correct? Right? It's up
Yeah,
in the UP.
yeah. Rothbury, yeah.
Yep.
And I went there and came back, and it was like, oh, and you'd be able to tell immediately from like the soundtrack to my bar shifts, because we had, you know what I'm saying, we had the aux.
Yeah.
You could tell immediately, like the moment I came back from Forest, you know what I'm saying? It was a whole lot more electronic music. I was really into like future bass. And
What year is this? Your first time going to Forest?
2018.
Wow,
Yeah.
2018 Forest.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
it was 2018. I came back and like started getting into house music.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things where like after going to Forest and starting to go into the local events and, you know what I'm saying, the shows at the clubs, it was like being on the dance floor is like the only place I ever want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like when there's house music going, it's like that feeling is amazing. Being surrounded by my friends, everyone's just like lost in the groove and shit, you know? Like, so I wanted to help recreate those moments for people instead of chasing them all the time.
Wow.
So I started throwing a party called Timmy's House. And my
Timmy's
buddy was
House. It sounds so innocent. I love that.
Yeah, because it was like I was calling myself like Timmy Turnup, you know?
Okay, yeah.
And so like my buddy started doing the flyers, and it was like me with like a turnip head, you know, like just like real cartoony shit. And so like I was kind of learning how to DJ like at the after hours with my dude Zach from Fear and Low. Sure. And so like we'd be at afters and everybody'd be sleeping. Me and him would be mixing until like 5 a.m. You know what I'm saying?
What deck were you on, and what program were you using at that time?
He had CDJs.
CDJs, yeah.
Yeah. And at the very beginning, I had a deck with Serato. It was like I forget whatever the fucking,
like one of those on the go decks.
Yeah, dude, that shit was trash. And I hated Serato because like I had to keep 2 libraries. So like when I'm at home practicing, I got this, but I have to turn around and put everything in record box because I can't be at after hours trying to plug a record box. You know what I'm saying?
I hear
trying to do that. And a buddy of mine actually like saw me bitching about it on Twitter and like DM me and asked me for my address, and I gave it to him. And this was probably like a Friday night or something. So I'm, you know what I'm saying, I'm drunk out, whatever, just, you know, here's my address, whatever. And then like that Monday, I open my door and there's a fucking brand new like DDJ 400 on my step. I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? And I was like, wait, he did ask for my address. And so like that was when I really started taking it serious, because it was like, all right, well, someone believes in me at that level. And this is like someone I met on Twitter. Whoa. This is not, you know what I'm saying? Like I met him at
like
Forest
that's a
once.
sign, bro.
Yeah. And it was like someone believes in me like that to just, you know, send me some gear. It's like, all right, well, let's kind of do that. And then with Timmy's House, it was like I was having all my friends play. I wasn't even playing it at first. I was just kind of curating, you know? Yeah. And then one of my buddies had to miss the event, and I was like, well, wait, I know how to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? So then that kind of so that kind of just like morphed into me playing for like 2 hours to warm the room up to open the party, and then having whoever my guy was that was the headliner of my little, you know, it was just like at a little bar and shit.
Right.
But that kind of turned into how I like found my sound. Was just, you know what I'm saying, testing songs and playing that once a month.
Yep.
And then because I was always like at the function and I knew everyone, and from being a bartender and having this personality and, you know what I'm saying, like knowing the people in the area.
You were promoting and networking too. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
See, that's
so then
one
it just
thing
started
I'm
to
hearing
get
through all this is, you know, you're making sure that you're aware, like you knew everyone, you were making face, you were showing up, but then you also like were finding your sound And like, was house something that was like predominant in the Columbus scene naturally before you were there? Or were you someone that's sort of like helping to promote and bring that scene back?
So there was like, I feel like I was late to it, so I can't really speak to how it
Okay,
was. Like more than what 4 or 5 years ago.
sure.
But when I first started kind of coming into the scene, there were a couple monthly parties, and they were all like house and techno type parties. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't any tech house. These
Yep.
are these are the homies, but they're the kind of dudes that laugh at tech house. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so it was like that wasn't really going. Most of the bars and the clubs, if it wasn't like an act that was being booked for house music, was top 40 or hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And so as I started doing Timmy's house,
Mhm.
a couple buddies were throwing some other parties, you know what I'm saying? And so it kind of all started to come up together as they're booking headliners, more and more houses happening. You see more and more house music at Forest. So that, you know what I'm saying? So people are coming back having some sort of knowledge of it. And then because I had the end with all the bars from being a bartender and knowing the whole short north, like I was able to go sit at a bar that usually played rap music and play house for 4 hours every Saturday night.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that kind of we started doing that. And then, you know what I'm saying,
That's
some other
crazy.
homies start to branch out and do that, you know what I'm saying? So like I feel like we kind of helped bring it back up, especially with the new sound
Yeah.
and delivering that to like the college kids and the people more my age that aren't necessarily like dedicated house heads that aren't going to come stand in a dark room and listen and dance to music without words for 4 hours.
That is
You know what I'm saying?
so cool.
So it was like one thing I realized really quickly was that a lot of what bars that want to play top 40 do is they want you to feel good because you're hearing your favorite song. And this is what I tell them is I will make you feel like you're hearing your favorite song for 4 hours straight. And you haven't heard a single one of them.
Yep.
Because that's just the vibe that, you know what I'm saying? Like that's
That's
what
just
house
what
music
house music
does.
can
Yeah.
do.
And I don't think they realize that. And
Right.
so as that starts to happen, you know what I'm saying? Like you sit at the bar like this, bopping, of course you're gonna buy a shot.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
so it just kind of started working. And then it's just kind of grown from there. You know what I'm saying? Like we had some people who moved into the area that make and play really good house music. We all kind of started hanging out together because we'd be at the function, you know?
So are all the DJs really close? Is the community tight knit with all the house
Oh
heads that
yeah,
are out
yeah,
there?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got a crew called the Oak Collective, which is basically
Oh, collective.
our homies that were running the afters, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Playing my like Fear and Low, they had a house on campus.
Yeah.
And
I
so
actually know them. Yeah. I
yeah,
know
after the
exactly.
show,
That's
we'd go to
crazy.
their crib, you know what I'm saying, keep the party going. And that kind of built a family of people who love that vibe.
Wow.
And they come, you know what I'm saying? We all go to the functions. And so it really does just feel like I know everybody in the club when we're having, you know what I'm saying, when we're having those parties. And so it's become one of those like infectious kind of things where people were seeing, how are you always having so much fucking fun? Well, let me show you, you know?
Mhm.
And so it kind of built that way. And now we have multiple clubs a night playing house music and multiple parties going, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you got to make a decision. Do I want to go here or do I want to go
Right.
there? You know? And
That's
it's a
sick.
great problem to have.
That's kind of reminds me right now. I interviewed recently a comedian who's out in the Texas comedy scene,
Mhm.
and it's the same shit out there. They're blowing up. There's a micro community of really good people who are really dedicated to the art form that they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's making even outsiders interested. Like, I need to try this. If I'm in Columbus right now, where's the clubs? Where do I got to go? Where can I go to
Um,
get some good house in my soul?
Forum on Saturday nights is the best club in the city, man. They got Boyd in there. Just got the room tuned up real nice. We got Gene Ferris coming on Saturday
Hell
night
yeah.
after the Buckeye game. We do day parties sometimes. We do day parties at Midway. Dahlia has been booking a lot of house acts. I'm opening up direct for Arnold and Lane on the 24th at Dahlia.
Hell yeah.
So I mean, there's a whole lot going on, and like I have a monthly where I play at a bar called the Walrus on first Fridays, and I do a thing called Day Club on the last Sunday of the month at Bodega. And
Hell
so
yeah.
we're getting to a point where almost every weekend, if you want to find house music, you can, and it's not, you know what I'm saying, it's in there, and it's not that hard, and it's one of those things that's like, this is what I was looking for when I did Timmy's house, because there wasn't, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
I couldn't find that party, you know,
And you guys are
and
literally the
so
ones fostering it.
Yeah, and it's been really cool because the forum, we now are working with the older guys who are doing what we're doing now 10 years ago. They were the
Sure.
ones throwing underground parties everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And so now we're working with them and we're all working together to try to build this house music every Saturday thing so you know where it's at. And you don't have to look to see who's playing. You can just pull up because you know it's going to be a good time,
House.
you know?
Yep.
So it's been really cool seeing how it's built, especially coming out of last year. You know what I'm saying? And the energy has been insane. Everybody is so ready to dance. Like
Yeah.
it's been a
How
lot of
did
fun.
how did COVID impact the dance scene too? Like I bet people are eager to get back to it. How were you
Yeah.
holding up during that?
I mean, I tore my quad tendon in November of 2019. So I was already in the house in a damn
I'm so sorry, man.
immobilizer and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like they were like, y'all gotta stay home. I was like, well, join me. You know what I'm saying? Like I was used to it. So I really just like I wasn't the one thing I realized immediately, even as I was starting to get booked for stuff, is that like even when we had a good party or I played a good set, I never really felt super like proud of what it was that I was doing because I'm just like playing music. And to me, having a good ear and all, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I do. That, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I am about music in general.
That's your
You know what I'm saying?
career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it didn't feel like I was doing anything all that special. And when COVID hit, it was like, all right, well, I know what it's time to do. I gotta lock in and start making beats.
Mhm.
And so I think I made 100 beats last year. Like just over and over. A bunch of really
What's
shitty
your
beats.
DAW? What's your DAW?
Ableton.
Ableton. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I made a bunch of shitty beats and just finished them all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like just getting reps.
Yep.
And so now it's gotten to a point where I can just like hop in and you know what I'm saying, have fun making stuff and you know what I'm
That's
saying,
so
and play
cool.
around.
It's really
Uh,
interesting you bring that up because actually you know who did that was Mozart and or no Bach. Bach wrote every day. He'd just wake up and write chorales.
yeah,
He wouldn't even like play all of them for the public, but he would get
yeah,
up every day and he would just do it to retain it and get better. And like
yeah.
now that's so cool. Like I bet you just like do you get like I know you go on those bike rides. Do you ever just get ideas in your head and then you have to go home and lay
Oh,
them
I
down?
cut I cut my ride short all the time because I'm like, nah, I need to go home and fix this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like what I'll do is I'll ride and listen to my mixes or listen to someone else's mixes, or you know what I'm saying? Like be running
100%.
through a mix down of the stuff that I've been working on lately and like taking mental notes of, you know what I'm
Wow.
saying, of arrangement and you know what I'm saying, things that I can do to try to make
Whoa,
it better.
what a cool creative process. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Could you talk me through like a little bit of your talk me through, I guess, a little more of like getting into your becoming a better producer and where is your creative process at now? Like how does the inspiration come into you? How do you put it out on onto the into a sonic form? Like how is that for you?
Well, it's kind of all over the place, honestly. Like
Okay.
I've always been like for me, it's like moods. Like I
Mm,
know when I feel like making a beat the way that you know you're when you're hungry.
yep.
And I will not make a beat if I don't feel like making a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
it's not something I'm willing to force in that way.
Wow.
Um
It's like instinct, like it comes onto your body in an instinctual
yeah,
way.
I mean like you know how if you're like bored and you feel like playing Madden, right?
Yep.
Like it's you know what I'm saying? Like you can't really explain that. But
Right.
that's how it is. Like I'll be sitting there and all of a sudden, like, yeah, I feel like making a beat. Let's open a door and see what happens. And then sometimes it's like, nah, never mind. I feel like playing 2K. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's like it's before it was a lot more, I want to say like poking around, you know.
Mhm.
I would watch like a tutorial on something and then try to apply that idea into a
Cool.
song, right? And so this was like basically like studying for like all like of the spring and summer of 2020, you know, because like one, I wasn't in much shape to be doing anything. All the fucking clubs were closed. All
Right.
I'm doing is streaming from my fucking living room downstairs with a little green screen and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't have I don't have a job. I don't have nowhere to be. I don't have a fucking sleep schedule. You know what I'm saying? I'd wake up some mornings at 3:30 and like, all right, well, let's make a beat.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, take a nap at 1 and then get, you know what I'm saying? It was like it it gave me a freedom that I probably wouldn't have had if things
Mhm.
didn't shut down because we would have been playing parties every fucking weekend. I wouldn't have had time to sit down and make 100 beats that suck.
Wow.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like if I
Hey, you
wasn't sitting in
took
the house.
advantage of that period so well.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things that it was really important to me,
Yeah.
and the trajectory that I was trying to set myself on was cut short so abruptly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
and it was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna sit around just playing and mixing music all fucking day, but I
Right.
need to be doing something with house music all day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to be doing
Right.
something with it. And so it just became this thing where it was like, all right, well, I taught myself how to produce before.
Mm.
I taught myself how to play guitar and write songs. You know what I'm saying? Like I did all that's all self-taught shit. It's like, all right, so why can't I sit down here and go through YouTube and figure out how to do this shit?
Yeah.
It's all math. So now it's like, because of, I feel like this amalgamation of different styles and influences from my two previous lives. I consider myself like on my on my third life. It's crazy. They all feel like so long ago.
Sure.
But because of that, now it's like all this shit is swimming in my head, and it's kind of like when I'm making a beat, it's like if I was just freestyle rapping. So I'll start with some drums or whatever, then I just let it happen. It's like playing with Legos, you know. It's like
Yep.
putting shit places, and if I hear a melody, you know what I'm saying, like I'm not I'm not very deliberate unless I have an idea, unless I start with a vocal or I start with a sample, or you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
otherwise it's just like, all right, let's see what I can make today. Sometimes it's like some deep house, some minimal shit. Sometimes it's some banger type shit. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just some weird shit I feel like making that'll never see the light of day.
Sure.
You know, and it's just
Man,
like
that's so cool.
just getting reps, man. It's like going into the gym every day if you're a basketball player.
Yep.
You know, you got to go get your shots up.
That makes sense. That entirely makes sense. Could you
And
talk
like,
through a little bit of like the process of making the song Can't Be Lonely?
oh, that one,
That's one of I love that track, by the way.
dude. I think that one started with the bass line.
Okay.
I want to say I started with a bass line. I might have started with the drums, but that was one that, like, as I made it, felt really different from the kind of shit that I usually make.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could tell by the bass line that like it wasn't gonna be able to be like a groovy song. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot more, I guess, like electro feeling, because it's more like
Yeah.
straight ahead, and you know what I'm saying? Like
Like I replicate that sound to like sort of the minimal house Brazil minimal like
mhm.
bass house. Like
Yeah.
it was such a well put together track. Like that's one of my favorites. What was like the emotional? You said so like each song sort of can come from an emotional place or an emotional state. What was maybe the emotional state of that song
Well,
as
I
as it
mean,
was coming out?
I don't think there really was one as much as it was just like a feeling. So like
Mm,
when I'm making a song as it starts to develop, I can tell where and when would I want to hear this song? What does it feel like?
mm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not so much an emotion as far as like
Which
putting it into
set would I
words
put
that
this
way.
in?
Like where would I want to hear this at? You know what I'm saying? What kind of song is this? And so like
Yep.
I had started writing it. I think I had probably the bass line and the drums. Cause usually what I'll do is I'll get the drums and bass line down, and I'll start laying the track out. So I can try to like write it in a linear fashion. And so I'm pretty sure I got a bunch of vocal packs and, you know what I'm saying, splice samples and shit. And
Yep.
so I think I found that vocal and was like, hold up, this kind of has a cool feel to it. You know what I'm saying? Like it can be, this might be able to be something cool. And then I think I like wrote that lead. And then so it's just like, how do I now tie the emotion from these vocals into the way the song feels?
Mm,
Because the one thing I don't know if you've noticed is that like all I'm trying to do is make like dark groovy shit.
yeah.
You know, like I don't fuck with major keys. You
Yep.
know, like I'm like I want you to put your head down and just start. You know what I'm saying? Just like
Yep.
start dancing to the shit. You know, like, and so that was one of those ones like this feels like a club track, but it's not like the typical thing that I would play or hear. You know, and
Mm.
so it was like, now how do I like just tie that in? You know what I'm saying, to what I was doing, and I made that song. When the hell did I make that song? Let me look. That's like
Hell yeah.
that was like because like, well, a lot of the stuff that's come out lately
Yeah.
is
It
all
came out in 2021.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is all stuff that I made last year.
Okay.
Or at
So
least
you've just been
at the
so
very
how much do you
beginning.
have in the vault? How much do you have just on deck waiting to be dropped?
Oh, I mean, I got a bunch of shit now that like I haven't that I can't that I wouldn't I probably wouldn't even like shop.
Wow.
I got a bunch of songs that I was trying to shop that like now I wouldn't play because I feel like I've leveled up a lot in the
100%.
past, like I want to say probably 2 or 3 months, honestly, because it was like I was writing these songs in a vacuum.
Right.
And they let me back out in the fucking club. Now I can test this shit.
And
Now
now
I know
you're
how it's supposed to feel. You know what I'm saying? Like now I know how it feels versus how I thought it would feel. And so it makes it a lot easier for me to have that kind of control when I'm writing, you know?
Dude, it's like you're a mad scientist. You're a mad scientist of feeling, emotion, and vibes. Because literally, it's like, all right, I was able to craft or create this sort of feeling and energy. Now, like you're saying, you get to go into the lab and you're getting to see how it's impacting the souls
Yeah.
around you. Dude, it's so cool. Like what you're doing is like what I think is so interesting about your art form is you get the one of those opportunities where people put their phones down and they just experience with the people around them, and they're connected to a moment instead of getting connected to a future experience or an
Right.
experience through something. And that's
Yeah.
like that's unbeatable to anything. It's so cool. And it's really interesting too that you're seeing, like, as now that the club opens up and you're producing, your exponential growth as an artist is like even month to month, which
Yeah.
is that's like gives me goosebumps, like as trajectory for your art form. Could you talk a little bit about Crossfader, that song? How was that process?
Um, that one, I mean, it was a pretty similar process. That was one where it was just like, I think I wrote that bass line, and that was like the first time I had written like a chunky bass line like that, with that kind of sound.
That one goes
And
hard, bro. And then you
like,
add there's like those like offbeat triplets in there. Oh my god,
yeah, so like, I mean, like I mean, honestly, a lot of it, a lot of it is like, how would I want this to sound to me if I was hearing it when I was tripping? I'm gonna be honest with you.
how can I unlock
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you.
psychedelics?
How would this feel if I was listening to it when I was tripping?
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm
Hell
saying?
yeah.
Like, because it's like just, I don't know, weird, wonky type shit
Mm.
that, you know, like,
Is that the influence too? I was going to ask about the album art. Do you make your album art?
I did the album art for Crossfader.
Okay. Yep. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I did that one.
With the green and the mushrooms.
Yeah. Because
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
like, that's, I don't know. It's always, I love acid. It's fun.
Yeah.
It makes
Now,
music wonderful.
do you consume and produce ever? Have you ever done that or tried that? Or do you
Um,
listen to your songs high yourself in order to see how it would interact?
no, well, I will listen to them that way.
Mm.
Writing is a little bit harder because my attention span is all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there are times where like I'm coming down or at the beginning where I'll be able to get an idea started. And then it's like, all right, yeah, now it's time to go do something, you know, like,
Right.
but it's more like, I don't know, for me, when I'm out and I'm at a festival or I'm at a show, you know, like, to me, that's game film. Like,
Explain that a little more.
as
Explain that a
much
little
as I'm
more.
enjoying it, I'm listening to how whoever's playing is mixing. I'm listening to the songs that I'm hearing. I'll hear like I'll hear a weird texture in a song. You know what I'm saying? Or like the way the snare is playing. You know what I'm saying? Playing with the like interplaying with the drums and be like,
Yep.
oh shit, that's how they're doing that.
Mm.
And if I'm on acid, it feels like I have so much more processing power. And you know what I'm saying? I'll be able to like
Fascinating.
understand what's happening, and I'll hear some shit and be like, oh fuck, that's how they got that sound, you know? And
So
it's stuff
you're
like that I'll bring back into what I'm doing when I get back home, you
wow,
know?
that's interesting. So you're saying like during the acid, your hearing is heightened. Therefore, like your ability to process and your synapse ability to remember the observation of each in particular sound is so increased to the point that it affects your art. That is so cool.
Well, because I feel like, especially in something like with house music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's loop based, right? And it's this really
Mm.
steady beat. Like, the one way you have to like manipulate the way it feels throughout the song is with texture, right?
Right.
So when you get to the breakdown, right, and you cut the bass and you bring in a pad, you know what I'm saying, and it feels like light and airy. That's a different texture than when you come back into the drop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so you'll hear a song and be like, yo, this breakdown is fucking crazy. What about this breakdown is making me feel this way?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is it the way this big synth is coming in? Is it, you know what I'm saying? Is it the way the drums are being filtered? All that kind of shit contributes to the way it feels. And it's, like you said, it's really all about feeling and vibe for me. Like, I hate using the word vibe that way because it feels like overused. But you know, but it's like it's really about how it makes me feel. Like I will never forget. I just got chills just about to say it. I will never forget the way that I felt the first time I heard that ARP come in on Jolene when Claude played it at Forest.
Wow.
I looked over at Zach like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like moments like that. Or like a lot of music I listen to when I'm riding my bike, right? So so like Ranger Trucko, right? He has a bunch of new shit coming out right now.
Cool.
And
I was gonna ask who are some people you're listening to?
Yeah, he's really dope, young dude. I think he's from Michigan, but he's out in LA now.
Okay.
But like he has this mix. I think it's a spotlight mix is what it's called. He has a bunch of like his, you know, like a bunch of IDs on there. Mm-hmm. And so like as these songs are starting to come out, like I can see in my mind where I was at on the bike trail the first time I heard the song in that mix. Like, yo, what the fuck is this? Because it imprints on me that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Because it's the feelings are so strong when I hear something I really like, and they're all like very distinct because of the texture of the song and even the context of how it's being played in the set. You know what I'm saying? Like changes your experience of it.
I agree.
And so like that's important in when I'm writing and in when I'm playing. Because like I'll be playing a set and I'll like see one of my homies in the crowd and I'll look at him and be like, watch this. And then I'll do something specifically to make him react to the music. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll bring a song in just to see like, well, I think he'll like this one. Let's see what happens if I play it like this for him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because I feel like as much as it is reading the crowd, right? If you can get one person over here to start dancing crazy as fuck, like what the fuck, you know what I'm saying?
10 more people.
Everyone around them's gonna start dancing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you catch somebody dancing real hard, and then I'll like lock in on them for a second and see, you know what I'm saying, see where their head's at as far as with what I'm playing, you know, because it's just like, I don't know, that makes it fun to me because the mixing part of it is all math. The DJing part of it is not really that hard to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it's like things like that, I feel like spice up the sets.
I get what you're saying. Like anybody can go on YouTube and through repetition and the like patterns of it become a DJ, but no one can become a true creator until they understand how to inspire and observe and be aware of the space and aware of how the art that they're making is impacting them. And I wanted to ask, this was when you were talking about like just how all of the songs are about different textures, right? The beats and like there's always a consistent 4 on the 4 usually, but the texture is what really resonates and changes each one. Do you think there's a sort of like meditative quality or meditative nature to house music? Or like I'm trying to, I guess, get at like, I feel like everyone gets together because in a sense it's tribal. It's so simple.
Oh, absolutely.
Like back in the day, like we used as hunter-gatherers, we just get together around a fire and bang on shit and dance and enjoy each other's company. Like, do you think there's like this meditative connection that even though we're using electronics and it's like the future of music using electronic production, do you think it's like resonating with our inner species and our inner creature?
It's a heartbeat, man. Yeah. It's a heartbeat. You're a good resting heart rate is what, like 60 beats per minute, right? What is house between 120 and 127?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you listen to tribal music anywhere, indigenous music anywhere. It's almost always 4 on the floor. It may be a different tempo.
Right.
But if you listen to people playing drums in a community, it's almost always 4 on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a universal thing.
Yeah, as an ethnomusicologist, exploring every culture, you see.
Yeah. It's a universal thing. And I feel like it absolutely is like meditative, and there, I lose track of time all the time when I'm doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, that's why I listen to it during a workout.
yeah,
It just
like
keeps you going. Like I hate to say it, but like it like pulls out a deeper part of me. Like it gets you, it like hits you in a deeper state, and I can
yeah.
go longer, and I just forget. I forget about what's happening.
I just rode 25 miles high as hell, grooving the whole time like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it doesn't feel like it.
Right.
It doesn't feel nearly the same it would be if I went out and ran 2 miles with no headphones on. That would be a lot harder than 25 miles on a bike. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
hell no.
And so it's like, I don't know, if I'm going on a road trip or I'm driving, I'm listening to house music. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
If I can't sleep, I'm gonna lay down and throw on some deep house or some minimal shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's a simple thing I can lock onto, and I will stop paying attention to whatever else is going on if I can lock into it. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
And so I don't know, it's one of those things that I knew immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, where the fuck has this been all my life? How did I not know about this shit? You know, like, I'm like, Robin, what?
Yeah.
I was rapping for 15 years for what? Bro, I could have been doing this the whole fucking time. You know, because it's just like, I don't know. It's the best feeling for me. It's such a spiritual thing, and I'm not a very deeply spiritual person. Sure. You know what I'm saying? In that sense, but like, as you will hear me say, house music is God, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I love that. That's the thing too, is about everyone in the community is once you're in, like, you're a house head because you're in for life and you're obsessed. And
I tell the homies, I'll be here when my boyfriend plays bass music. I'm like, I'll be here waiting for you when you get here. And, you know, like it may take you a while, but I will be here when you get here. And I've had several of my friends who really didn't get into house music like that, right? And now they're starting to come to the function and having fun. And I've had several people be like, all right, I get it now. I think don't tell nobody, but I think I'm a house head now. You know what I'm saying? I was like, hey, I told you I'd be here. Welcome.
That's beautiful. I wanted to ask, and I wanted to explore a little bit, gigs. So you got to open for Mala, which was insane. Could you talk me through maybe that gig, and then maybe some highlights of, can you give me a great club moment and then like the worst club moment? Maybe someone who was just obnoxious as fuck or something, or something crazy.
Yeah. The Mala show was nuts because my dude Nick, who was doing the promotion for the show with my best friend's party, he pitched it to us like we did like an Oak Collective opening set.
Cool.
So there's 6 of us. It's me, Fear and Low, Jimmy Gent, Max Bakovin, and Benton, my dude Jeff. And so what we did was we had 2 hours, and we did 4 30-minute sets, like B3B. So it was me, Fear and Low, and then Bakovin, Benton, and Jimmy Gent, and we just rotated every half hour. Right, like a 3-way back to back. And so it was just really cool because like we all played like different types of house music. You know what I'm saying? Like we all make different types of house music. And it's always fun. It was fun when he pitched it because like, no, this is just gonna be like what we do at afters anyway. Because all we do is sit around the decks and switch in and out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it was really cool to watch the energy in the room build that way off of like, this is what, you know what I'm saying? Like being able to show a bunch of people who probably had no idea who we were because, you know what I'm saying? This is Mala at Otherworld. There are people coming from wherever to come see this, you know?
No, literally. Yeah, I almost drove down for it.
Yeah, dude, it was nuts. Like that was a really fun show. And it was one of my favorites to date for sure.
Sure.
Like it was definitely a really good feeling to get that kind of reception, and then have like to overhear people be like, damn, I wish the openers were still on. Damn, you know what I'm saying? Like shit like that, because it was like, I feel like there's just so much variation when we do that. Because we all have our own music on our USBs. We're not playing from the same set. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not playing from the same pool of music. So you get to bring in like, we all get to bring in like what our idea of opening for Mala is.
That's
while also like keeping in consideration, like, okay, I know that I'm playing with Fear and Low, right? So I know what realm we're gonna be in.
Right.
How do I find songs that are gonna fit this vibe that still have my flavor with it? You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like being able to do that in a way where like being in tune with them that's second nature. I open for them all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
And so it's cool because I can do that and still go in there and have the confidence that we can do it on the fly.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying?
Was it just like natural as hell with all of you guys up there? Like was there like any funny moments or cool moments with the crowd?
I mean, it was just like, I remember at one point, I think it was Alex. He played that new Fisher, Just Feels Tight.
Okay.
And I looked down and saw him bringing it down. I was like, oh yeah, that's about to go crazy. And like, it was one of those things, like as it built in, he dropped it out, just feels tight. And they fucking exploded.
Hell yeah.
You know, and it's like being able to do that, it's fun because that's a song that none of us would probably ever play in any other setting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like other than that big ass group party.
Right.
Because that's what it calls for at that time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you would never hear a Fisher song in a normal Fear and Low set. I would probably never play that song. I might play that song, you know what I'm saying? Like at a party because I play more towards that style. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it's like having moments like that.
Mm.
It's fun because you're doing it with your best friends, you know? Like these are the people I spend all my time with when I'm not getting paid to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's been really cool to see everyone's growth and see the homies getting tracks signed and playing and you know what I'm saying and going out of town and doing shows and all that shit. It's been really cool just to see the growth and like be able to root for each other in that way and push each other and you know and find that inspiration like to keep trying to level up like as a crew and like as a scene, you know.
I recently listened to your live stream that you did at the Columbus wall outside.
Oh yeah.
And that was, first off, it was a fantastic set, but I wanted to talk through what was the process of setting that up? And was that you and your management that wanted to come up with that idea? Was that all you? Sort of what was sort of the creation behind it and how did that event go during it? Like talk me through the mindset of it. Because it was pretty badass.
It was fun. Like I don't really have management per se. Like I have Prism that's helping me work with stuff and help me like trying to get booking and whatnot.
Okay.
But as far as like all the branding and all that, that's just all whatever the fuck's going on in my head. I have no idea what I'm doing until I do it. You know what I'm saying? Like not like I'm not the kind of person that looks very far ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this has all kind of been like long range, just like kind of seeing the bigger picture and doing small things that I feel like fit into the puzzle to get me there. Yep. But there's no fucking plan for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like I got I don't remember if I was approached or if I asked. But a homie in Chicago was running this like Wednesday stream for Gene Ferris's channel. And so I was going to play a set for it. And I was like, well, I don't want to it's a pre-record. I'm pre-recording the set so they can stream it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't want to just do this shit in my fucking living room and you know what I'm saying? And do the same thing I've been doing. And my buddy, the guy that makes a lot of, that did my logo and did all the Timmy's House flyers and whatnot, he's real good friends with the guys who put that mural up there. Mm-hmm. And the guy who owns the shop it's attached to and whatnot. And so he does film stuff. And my buddy Mike has also been doing a lot of film stuff and drone work. And I was like, yo, what if I go do this fucking set and just record it at the Love Mural? We'll be able to get power from that building because we know the guy who owns the building. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So it was really a pretty easy setup. Honestly, we didn't have to have anybody move any cars.
Wow.
We got there. The dude had the extension cord hung over the fence for us to, you know what I'm saying, tap into. We brought a table and just like set it all up. And I brought a speaker out there and brought my deck, well, my buddy's deck, and just like started playing, you know. And it was kind of cool because we had people come up and want to behind to take a picture against the mural. I'm like, go for it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hell yeah.
People came up and were like standing off behind the camera, dancing for a little bit and whatnot, because it's right downtown. It's kind of like tucked off a bit, but it's in an area where people are walking by, you know.
Sure.
And so it was just kind of cool. Like, we almost fucked it up and started too late because as it got darker, we didn't have good enough lights to keep me lit very well. so we had to kind of piece the end of that together. But yeah, it was one of those things where I hit him up and then hit my buddy Mike up. Like, would you want to come? Cause like he's been just learning the drone and testing shots, and you know what I'm saying, just now getting back into filming stuff. And I was like, would you want to come play around with your drone and record this while I'm, you know, I'm doing this set? And I think we set that up in like a week because I had to get it in. So like when we recorded it, I had to like have that video to him within like the next 3 or 4 days. So it wasn't like we could go back and redo it. You know, we were like, all right, let's just get it to him how it is. And it worked out cool. And I played a lot of my music, and that was I would say, maybe like 50 or 60% original tracks, if not more.
Hell yeah.
That was mostly my music, and then just like some other stuff to break it up.
Sure.
Because my mix downs aren't great, so I kind of gotta sprinkle some other stuff in there so you don't get. My boy Diego says that my high end is harsh. and I've been working on him with mixing and mastering and stuff. He's actually a DJ and producer too. His name is DeRoya.
Okay, cool. Shout out to DeRoya.
But yeah, it's been like, it's one of those things where like I make music way too fast to have to actually try to have someone else mastering my shit. I don't have that kind of money. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it costs a lot.
There are some weeks I make like 5 beats. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to test these in the club. You know, so like a lot of my masters and the songs are songs like I can play in a set, but they probably shouldn't be like released or recorded yet. You know what I'm saying? Like you shouldn't be able to listen to that again yet because there's gonna have some imperfection in it. You know?
Yeah. It hasn't gone through the right proper compressions. Yeah, you haven't brought out certain parts that you want to kick harder, and then feel lighter. Right.
Because once I'm done with the song, it's like a quick little boop, boop, boop. All right, I'm gonna go test this motherfucker.
yeah. You're like,
I'm impatient, man. I'm impatient.
I love that. That is so cool. That's so cool. You were talking to me a little bit before we started about where the future of your brand and your sound is going. Can we sort of explore that a little bit? What do you have in your head going on? Because you're both your ideas as a marketer, your ability as a networker, you're really running a business, man. Like you're doing it. You're an entrepreneur in your own right. Everything the way you think about this business and how you do it, it's cool. It's really unique, and it's your sound and it's you. So where's the direction going for you?
Really just trying to keep doing what I'm doing, honestly. I think I'm taking a big step up production wise over at least the past month or two. Like I'll send you some of the unreleased stuff I got.
Hell yeah, I'd love to hear.
Like I just recently started doing my own vocals.
No way.
Because it took a while. It took a while for me to get comfortable with the cadence of house music as a writer. Because that's nothing like writing 16-bar raps and 8-bar hooks. You know what I'm saying? You got to be much more concise if you're trying to get an idea out, and it's only going to be played every so often in the song. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And the tempo is much different, and the cadence is different because it's not, for me, when I was writing raps, I was a very wordy person. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to weave a lot with my flow and whatnot. And it's very hard to do that at 125 beats per minute.
You have to be a lot more concise at 125 beats.
Yeah. And the flow has to be sometimes it has to be a little choppier. You know what I'm saying? There are certain flows that fit well with house music that to me would feel weird if I was doing it in a different setting. You know what I'm saying? And it being more sing-songy and simple because I like wordplay a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to have triple entendres and all kind of layers to what I'm saying. And it's very hard to do that when you got like 6 words per bar. You know what I'm saying? Like that significantly changes things. And like, I don't know when it kind of just like clicked for me, but now it's starting to get easier to do. And I got a few tracks that I need to start shopping. I got one that is signed. I don't think I'm allowed to say where it's coming out yet.
Really?
But I've started working with Mike McFly, and he's been trying to help me get my production up, and because I had sent some stuff to House of Hustle, and he was like, yo, what you're doing with these vocals is unique, and it's, you know what I'm saying, it's something that can help to set you apart. And so with that and doing my own vocals, once I get my first, I want to say big signing, it'll be when this song that's signed right now comes out, unless there's something that gets signed quicker.
That's
I'm
crazy.
probably going to rebrand and just go as Govan Jones, because it's much more authentic. Govan's my first name and Jones is my mother's maiden name, and that was what I went by when I was doing the singer songwriter stuff. And I started the Governor Project before I started producing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that was just like kind of a DJ thing.
Right.
And so I feel like if I can get ahead of it and do this rebrand now before Smart. I got like 75 monthly listeners on Spotify, they'll find me.
Right. They'll bridge the transition.
Yeah. So it's like, I'd rather do that. And it feels like a natural transition now with me starting to release stuff with my own vocals on it. Will be a perfect time to just, you know what I'm saying, to do that rebrand and feel more as an artist and not, you know what I'm saying, not as the DJ.
So what do you think? So it sounds like your lyrical content style is super, super deep and like meaningful. What is your
not
singing
with house
style?
Music.
Oh, not with
house music. No, so that's what that was the thing, was that like when I was rapping, I'd say like I was really into like State Property and Rockefeller and like, you know what I'm saying, that storytelling East Coast shit.
Yeah.
And so when the South hit and it was all how much more fun and party music, I didn't know how to write that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to rap about having fun without feeling like I'm sounding corny. And so that's part of coming around on the house music side. It's like now I can make fun music and it feels right to me. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and so
cool.
The lyrics, it's a lot more playful, you know?
Cool.
But it's like, I don't know, like just kind of like, you know, like swag, confident type, talking my shit. You know what I'm saying? How I would feel in the club talking to somebody. You know what I'm saying? So like most of the lyrics are something that I would see myself like saying to somebody in the club, or saying something talking about the club, or talking about myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, back to like that feeling, or like setting. Where would I head? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this track that a track called "Hook That Line" with Mike McFly, where the vocal is like, "It might sound crazy, okay, but I really want to make you mine." And like, to me, like when I'm writing it, you'll be able to hear it in the way that I say, like in the way that I say it. It's like me, you know what I'm saying? Like whispering to somebody while I'm dancing. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
game talk
so
type shit.
Sick, bro.
And so it's fun to do that now, because it's starting to come a little bit easier. Where like
it feels genuine. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's not like a labor to think for or push for. It starts to reveal itself as I'm writing it. You know what I'm saying? Like whether the cadence pops in my head or whether like the concept pops in my head and I have to write around that, you know, like it happens different almost every time, but I feel like I provided my subconscious brain with enough fuel that I trusted to do what it does. And so I kind of like try to open the door for it and let it happen.
That's smart. I think that's like so important during the creative process, is to just like trust your instinct and to allow that to flourish, because that will be the most truthful version. Like if you allow yourself to overthink it, you'll just put the human touch into it and it won't be what it naturally was.
Yeah, I try not to think about it at all. Like the complete opposite of overthinking. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if I have to think too hard about it, like if I'm trying to write a lead for a song and I find myself trying too hard, I will literally save that shit and turn my Xbox on.
Yep.
Like I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not fun to me. Having to think about it is not fun. then it feels like work.
Sure.
You know, like I'm lazy. I don't like doing work.
Yeah, you just want to have great times. You just want to be connected.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to chill and feel good, man.
That's about it. So I wanted to ask, what is your definition of happiness?
Oh, my first instinct is to say house music.
I love that. Man. That would be a new answer. I wouldn't have ever heard that one before, which is awesome.
The purest version of it is, for me, is the way I feel when I'm dancing to house music. You know, like people will tell me sometimes like that my energy is like very infectious. at the
Mm.
function, and I'm like, well, I'm not even paying attention to none of y'all. Like I am not being positive on purpose. It's literally impossible for me to have a bad time.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm where I want to be.
That's
You know,
beautiful.
and it's just like I don't know. It's such a driving feeling in a world that's full of so much fucking bullshit and turmoil, to be able to still be able to find somewhere where my brain can get lost.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Someone who's always fucking analyzing. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
it's something that I don't take for granted, the way that I'm able to like lose myself. And not even always like dancing to it or being on a dance floor, even if I'm just like riding my bike or driving or you know what I'm saying? Like the way I feel when I hear a song that's crazy to me for the first time, like I'd be sitting by myself and being here like looking around for someone else to react with it, like
literally,
like shit, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an unbeatable feeling, and I feel like it's probably because I'm so like tied into music. You know what I'm saying? And like so much of my experience in life has revolved around music in one way or another. You know what I'm saying? Like that I'm just like so locked into it. And like my boyfriend will tell you, he gets sick of me talking about it.
But that's what we do when you're passionate about something, right?
Yeah. He'll mock me and be like, "Sorry, babe, I was stuck in a groove." I'm like, well, in my defense, I was. I didn't see my phone ring. You know what I'm saying? Like
100%. It's the utmost form of therapy. I hate to say it, but there's this song called Church, but it's like the church. The club is the church.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a place where everyone, what would you, I wanted to ask this, like if I've never been, or I'm listening to this podcast, I've never heard of house music, or I've never been to a house music club, like how would you describe that experience? Or like, how would you talk to someone about going to a house club if they're having anxiety before they don't know that experience?
I mean, like in one word, I would say euphoric. But I don't know. It's a place where I feel like at a house music function, like it feels like you're at that feeling you get when you're at a music festival where everyone is like no judgment. Everyone is there for a great time. You feel like you can just be yourself completely without thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like that is like that's what's happening in the club for house music, especially at the function that we're throwing and that we're at. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such a community. I've met so many people and made so many friends from standing next to them like this and looking over and then seeing them at the bar later, or seeing them outside smoking a cigarette, or seeing them at a different club. You know what I'm saying? Like it's given me so much that I don't think that I would have been able to find otherwise.
Wow.
You know, and it feels nice to feel like I actually have something to contribute now. Because like when I was just DJing before, I felt like a passive participant in it, even though I was DJing, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I wasn't really creating much. And I wasn't doing anything with my like DJing style, or with you know what I'm saying, the kinds of the way that I was playing music. There was nothing, you know what I'm saying? The only thing unique about it was that I was picking the songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so these were songs that I
like. You felt more like a disc jockey, like you were just catering tracks.
Yeah. And so like now I've gotten to the point where I've been at shows and had people who I don't know tell me that they're there to see me. And I'm like, I'm not even the headliner.
Wow. How does that feel, like, to actually be impacting people's lives with your art?
It's what I hope to do. And like it feels good to be back here is what I'll say. It's because like when I was rapping and doing that shit, like in high school, we had that kind of buzz going. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was like you were like at the bottom of the mountain, but you had a spark or an instinct of what it will feel like when you get to the top of that mountain. And like now you're climbing. You're climbing. You're mid mountain. You might not be at the full top, but you get it.
I feel like I've had to start at the bottom of the mountain this is the third time I've started at the bottom of the mountain. So that's why it feels
you're on your third life.
Like with doing the guitar thing and that was a much more intimate experience as far as like sharing myself with people. I still had those experiences with that. And then to like lose that and lose the passion that came with that and be starting fresh again. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool to get there. And when someone says like good set, to feel proud of it. Whereas like before it'd be like good set. It was like, well, yeah, I was just fucking playing songs. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like a playlist. I could give you this in a Spotify playlist and you're gonna have the same effect for the most part. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so like now being able to add a lot more of my own flavor and be confident that I'm presenting it in a way that no one else is presenting it. You know what I'm saying? You could give me the same 20 songs. You could give Zach the same 20 songs. You can give Alex the same 20 songs. And none of the sets are going to sound the same.
Right.
Even though they're the same songs. You know what I'm saying? So like it's getting to that point where I feel like I actually am giving something when I'm performing. Mm-hmm. And having that kind of reaction it's a really dope thing to finally to feel that way about something I'm so passionate about. Because even like when I was rapping, I was just doing it because I was that good at it. Mm. You know what I'm saying? Like I never loved hip hop the way that I love house music, and that was a much longer relationship.
Yeah. Do you think like how would you tell someone or talk to someone about the idea of following your passions? Like, because like when you were following I feel like when you were younger, you were following your passion, which was music, by doing the rap, but it wasn't the right outlet of that passion. How would you like talk to someone, or what's your advice through getting through those points where you're like, I think I might be on the right track, but I'm not doing it right yet? Like how did you get through that mindset, or like what are some key takeaways from being able to find and finally get to a point where the passionate project that you're putting out is something that makes you so happy and just so rewarded as a human being? Like how did you get through that, and how could someone else maybe learn from that?
I feel like I'm trying to figure out how I want to phrase it. I feel like before it gets to the point where doing it is rewarding, it starts at the point where it feels empty when you're not. Much more of a driver for me than the great feeling I get when I play a great set, or when I make someone smile, or when I make someone dance, is trying to avoid the hole that's left there when I'm not doing that.
Wow.
You know, like for me, it's something that I didn't realize as much, but like even when I wasn't creating musically, I was still in some ways doing that, being behind the bar and curating playlists and playing the music behind the bar. I was still trying to give something, but it wasn't in the same way. And I didn't realize it on that level until I started DJing again. I was like, oh, there it is again. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Like what I thought I was happy. I thought I was having fun. I wasn't having fun yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was going through the motions trying to find this again. You know what I'm saying? Like aware. On autopilot type shit. Yeah. So like I feel like if it's one of those things that I don't know, it's like it's a need, man. It's like some fucking primal shit. You know, I
totally understand you.
Like it's for me, it's like it really is like a hunger, man. Like
it really is. It's so deeply ingrained inside of your existence now that it wakes you up without you having to wake yourself up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like it's one of those things that's like hard to explain, but if you do something, you know it when you know what I'm saying? You know it when it's there.
So it's like about, if you go ahead. No, you finish your thought.
I don't even know what I was going to say. I was going to say something like if you're doing something and you're hesitant to pursue it because you don't think you're good enough, or you don't think you're going to be good enough, and you stop doing it and you feel like shit when you're not doing it, start doing it again. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's like the best.
Oh no, I don't know. It's like I hate to compare it to drugs, but that's what like, you know what I'm saying? Like I go through withdrawal, man. Like I'll be in a bad mood and be like, well, damn, I ain't made a beat in like 4 days. I ain't listening. You know what I'm saying? I ain't listening to music. I've been running around doing a bunch of shit. I haven't actually got to sit and really enjoy any house music in a while. You know, like
Yeah.
it's something that you like it's like I said again, like being hungry, man. You know, you may not realize it until your stomach's growling, but you're like, oh shit, I gotta eat. You know?
That's fantastic. Yeah, no, I totally get that. I wanted to ask, you didn't say that you were spiritual really in a sense, but it seems like you have an ability to listen to yourself and be really in tune to what your body is wanting and what you need for yourself next. What are sort of some of your guiding principles, or is there something that does give you like a sense of faith or a sense of higher purpose or meaning for you in your life?
Um, I don't know. I wouldn't see of any higher purpose because I am of the belief that none of this shit actually means anything outside of what you assign to it.
Mm,
And I have decided to try to leave things better for me being here. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's like
in one way or
that's like
another.
the purpose of life for you.
I
I
mean,
like
yeah, because I lost two of my best friends in 2019,
Wow.
and
I'm so
that was
sorry.
right as I was really starting to make little waves, even just as a DJ. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And there were people that were very supportive of me, and one of the main takeaways from that for me was they are the two people that I could always count on to make me feel the way that I try to make everyone else feel.
mm,
You know, like I as a black gay man, I feel a lot, you know,
sure.
there's a lot. And like I know that this shit's hard for everybody. And so I try my best to make it easier on the people I care about who are around me, you know,
Mm,
just by being good to them. You know,
yeah.
like I'm I'm a bit of an asshole at times. You know, but it's like I really do sincerely try to be good to people.
Mm,
And because of this hellhole that we're in, try to leave it a little bit better than it was, you know,
mm-hmm.
for the imprint I left, because those two people, Seth and Miklos, left a very profound imprint on me in the short amount of time that I knew them.
That's
That
beautiful.
that I will carry forever, and that's another driving force of this is like, you know, is trying to do that because they believed in me so deeply.
Mm,
You know, is to actually try to see this shit through.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because I need it. You know, like I need it. I feel like this is what, third time's a charm. I feel like this is my last shot, you know?
Yep.
And so like
And I
I'm a
believe it
push for
too.
it.
I believe
Yeah.
it too. Like you can hear it. You can hear it in your sound. You can see it in the progress of what you've been creating. And the world is like the universe is responding to you. It's giving you
Yeah.
signs. It's pushing you towards that too.
Yeah.
You
Because
know?
I don't feel like I'm meeting any resistance. And the other shit I was doing, I
Hell
felt
yeah.
like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I don't I don't know how the fuck I got here, bro. I started Timmy's house in like September of 2018, I think. It's September of 2021. I don't know how the fuck I got here.
Is it just felt
Like
like a
if
blur? Just like
dude,
boom.
yeah, man. If someone was to be like, give me what would the blueprint be? I don't fucking know. I just you know what I'm saying? Like for
Right.
me, I just know where I want to be.
Mm,
I know what that looks like in some capacity.
mm,
And so I take everything a step at a time, but I try to take those steps and make sure those steps are pointing in that direction in some way or fashion.
smart.
You know what I'm saying? Like I may take a few steps to the side, but we're still going trying to go towards it, you know?
Yep.
And so it's been one of those, it's like I said, I haven't met any resistance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just been happening in a way where it's like I've barely had time to absorb it, or you know what I'm saying, or understand it. Like
Sure.
there's just so many factors have gone into it.
It's
You know what I'm
beautiful.
saying? Where it feels like it's being laid out for me. And I'll be damned if I turn around and walk the other way from it,
Hell
you
yeah.
know? So
Hell
we're
yeah.
gonna just keep going.
I wanted to ask, so when did you pick up biking, and talk to me about the biker's life? What have you learned? Give me some key takeaways that Govan has picked up as a
So
biker.
I picked that up, and I want to say June of 2020. Well, I had a bike
Okay.
a couple times back in like 2017, 2018, because I live in the short north, and the bar I worked at was like maybe a mile away, and everywhere I went was within 2 or 3 miles. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like that
By the
was
way,
commuting.
Columbus is super bike friendly. Like
Yeah,
my friend Jake lives around that area, and we went
yeah,
biking there. It's beautiful.
yeah.
The
So it was
river
like it was a
trails and all that.
so that's where I ride is on the Olentangy River Trail. And
Hey,
like dude, it's wonderful. And it started out as commuting before, and I've had probably like 3 or 4 bikes stolen. And so like the last time it got stolen, I think like the day before Christmas, and I was like, man, fuck this shit.
that's
And so
fucked.
like I think that was like Christmas. I want to say 2018 maybe. So I hadn't ridden a bike in a while, but then when I tore my quad tendon in 2019, and right when I was starting to do rehab on my leg was when COVID hit and all the hospitals and elective stuff was shut down, so I couldn't go to rehab. And so I got a bike from a buddy of mine. I just started riding to get my legs stronger because I couldn't, lift weights or go to the gym because
No,
everything
that's
was
really
shut
really
down.
smart.
And so I did that all last summer. And then I'm trying to think if I had the same bike. Um, yeah, and then like so I rode my bike all last summer, and then it got cold, so you can't really do that much anymore.
Mhm.
And I was like really looking forward to getting back out there because it was like that was the only time I could really get out and do anything. We weren't doing much, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so like that hour and a half, 2 hours, I was riding like 25 miles a day last summer
Wow.
because I didn't have anything else to spend my energy on. Like so I'd either wake up and ride immediately, or I'd wake up and like start a beat and then go ride.
Mhm.
um, and just like riding around listening to what I had been working on and listening to my mixes and whatnot. Um, and so it's been really good for me for my mental health as an outlet, especially during the week when I can't go dance anywhere. I can't go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can't really go do anything exciting because I don't do like the bar hopping stuff. I'm not about to go to the bar and spend money to drink to go talk to strangers. I don't.
No.
I have
Yeah.
no desire to do any of that. And so yeah, it's been a lot of fun, man. Like I got a little Bluetooth speaker on my
Yeah, I was
handlebars.
gonna ask. I
I
saw
ride
a video.
around
Like,
bopping.
did you set that up yourself? Did you like modify that to hold your speaker perfectly?
No, the speaker I got has like a strap,
Mm.
and the strap is like it's like a silicone strap that lays flat to the back. So like I just stretch it around my
Right.
handlebar and it sits pretty snug on the bike. And it's pretty loud, and it makes it easier to ride because I don't have headphones in. I can hear, you know what I'm saying? I can hear my surroundings.
Yep.
People can hear me pulling up on them. Like it just makes it a lot of fun because then I can ride intervals where I like sprint on my bike during the drop and slow down during the breakdown. You know what I'm saying? Like it just gives a whole another level to it.
Sure.
Um, Sometimes I dig while I'm riding. I have Shazam on my watch.
Mm.
So I'll listen to somebody's mix, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And if I hear a song I really like, I'll just hit Shazam on my watch. And when I get home, go look for it.
That's smart.
Um, so it's like, it's been nice because it gives me a time uninterrupted where I can listen to house music
Mhm.
during the
And
week.
it's a
You know what I'm
workout.
saying?
And it's like
Yeah.
that's so healthy for our brains, like to release the
Yeah.
dopamine that way.
Yeah. Well, and I read somewhere it helps a lot with stress too to be
Mm.
moving at that high to move at high speeds while having to pay attention to your surroundings that way. It makes it a
Smart.
lot easier to manage anxiety
That
because
makes sense.
your brain is used to trying to slow things down when they're moving too fast. You know what I'm saying? Because you're
Right.
constantly scanning, riding on a trail like that.
Mm.
So I think it's done a lot for me physically and mentally
Yeah, it's something I've seen
because
you
I
do
was
like every day, it looks like on your stories.
yeah, I do it every day I can. I've been traveling back and forth up to Ann Arbor, well now Detroit, where my boyfriend lives at.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
so there are times when I go up there and I'm up there for a little bit longer and can't ride while I'm up there, and then I get home like, well, I can't wait to ride tomorrow. you know, like
Sure.
like today I got up and rode I think 26 miles. I just got back from Detroit yesterday because I went and helped him move.
Mm.
And so I went to bed early last night. Like, yeah, I can't wait to get up and
Mhm.
go ride. I got a fresh mix to listen to. And it was a great day. A good start to my day.
I wanted to ask, how is your relationship going for you, and B, what do you think are some of like the most important traits, the most important things to keeping your relationship healthy and in a good spot for you guys?
It's great. It's interesting because he's a bass producer. He makes
Okay.
dubstep. He's actually
Whoa, yeah. He's
he's
into
on direct
hard
support for.
styles.
Yeah, well, he does. Yeah, he's on direct support for Bunsen Blanche tomorrow down in Cincinnati at Thompson House.
No way.
So it's been fun because like he's he's got more going than I do. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm,
one of his songs just hit 50,000 listeners or 50,000 plays on Spotify or not
hell
Spotify
yeah.
on SoundCloud.
That's great.
Um, yeah, and it's funny because like it's going great, and we both laugh at ourselves and each other, and we're always cracking jokes about shit. Like someone put a song on Spotify that showed up in my release radar that had my name attached to it. I'm like, this is Bass House. I would never. And so I was like, I gotta change it. He was like, why? So your 100 monthly listeners don't get confused. And I was like, damn. But I mean,
So like as a DJ, do you have, or as a producer, do you have to date another producer? Is that just like, does it have to be like, is that just, it doesn't work out, or does it just happen to be that way?
I don't think you have to, but it definitely helps for us
Mm,
with having the distance too, is that like it's something that we don't have to explain to each other what's going, you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
playing a show, like if he's playing a show and then I don't hear from him until 5 or 6 in the morning, I'm not like checking my phone or asking him where he's at. He's at afters. Duh, I'm at afters too. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we're both doing the same shit. So it's
That's
like
nice. There's never
it's
that
a
like,
level of
hey, where are you
understanding.
at? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You said you were going to be home at 2. Well, we got invited to
Right.
after hours. Oh, word. Hell yeah. Well, let me know when you get home. You know what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to you thinking I was lying because I told you I was coming home at 2 and something popped up, you
That's
know, like
freaking nice. I didn't think about that.
it's definitely made it, a lot easier because we both really want this.
Mm,
And so if he's staying down here and he's like, all right, I'm going home tomorrow because I need to go lock in and make and work on some music for the rest of the week. I'm like, bet I need to do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
that's
it's
so
nice to
nice
be
to
able
have
to
that
level with
mutual
that.
support.
Yeah. And then even just like being able to send, you know what I'm saying, show him music and he shows me music, or, oh, yo, I just found this new neat compression trick. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
being able to nerd out about shit like that is really cool, you know, and it's not something that I was looking for necessarily, but I'm very
Mm.
glad that I found it.
Isn't that always how it happens when you're not looking for
Yeah.
it? That's when you find it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I feel like when you're not looking for it, you're only going to accept it if it's what you want.
Mm,
You know, like you don't end up forcing it the same way you are when you're searching for something.
100%. That's definitely probably the mechanism that makes that happen. Oh, cool. This has been such a good time, man. Like thank you for joining me. I have a couple
Yeah, no
questions
problem,
here
man.
as we get closer to the end. And the first one for that is, what is your current thought on aliens and extraterrestrial life?
On it, on aliens,
Yes.
do they exist, or like are they here
Yes.
already?
Uh,
Well,
well,
well, one, I think they
anything.
exist.
If they exist, what do you think about aliens when you think about
I
aliens?
might I might be one, man. I don't know, man. I feel
Shit.
very different from I feel very different from a lot of people. So maybe I might be one. I don't know, man. I've been watching I was watching, was it on Netflix? I think it was on Netflix. We were talking about just like some of the different sightings and shit. And
Mhm.
I'm like, you mean to tell me you got all this shit, all these different people throughout time that don't know each other, and they all been seeing the same kind of shit? You think motherfuckers just all making it up together? Like there there are
You're
fucking
right though.
cave drawings of fucking
Yep.
space helmets in Sumeria, bro. They didn't nobody go back in time and write that shit there?
Right.
So
Right.
where the fuck they get helmets from? Where they get space helmets from?
You
How
know,
they know about rocket ships? Like
you bring up
the
such a
fuck?
valid point. No one ever, when I bring this question up on the show, no one ever fucking talks about that. Like, you could go so far back in history and see
Yeah,
depictions of it.
yeah. all of that shit. I think in the Bible, when they talk about angels coming down, there's probably some fucking aliens.
Do you think that mushrooms and like psychedelics and psilocybin that grow naturally in nature can be aliens? They look kind of alien-esque.
Ooh. Damn, dude, you about to fuck me up. I never thought about that.
You know?
Yo, wait, hold on now. That's crazy. Because did you watch that mushroom documentary?
Yeah, I did. I did.
And I'm thinking about how they don't behave like anything else on earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's such a variety. Like, that's damn, man. That's
also
crazy.
that movie that like basically said that the spawn of everything was because of mushrooms. And
that stoned ape theory. I thought you were gonna ask, do I think that mushrooms are awesome? I was gonna say, fuck yeah.
Oh, of course mushrooms are awesome. They have so many healing properties.
Yeah, man.
And they can be fucking wild if you take a lot.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like I remember the first when I was younger, this was probably when I was like, I want to say 22.
Okay.
22 or 23. I went down to Florida and stayed at my buddy's parents' house. We had a little vacation and shit. Mm-hmm. And I snuck some mushrooms down there. And I ate mushrooms and laid by the pool, or laid in the pool, and just stared at the sky.
I bet that was insane.
Dude, it was nuts because I came back, and then over the next 2 years, I lost 130 pounds. Because that first trip it unlocked some shit, man. I had so many epiphanies that I couldn't vocalize or couldn't separate. It felt like I realized a million things at once, and I understood what they all were, but I couldn't separate them to tell you what they were to save my fucking life. You know?
I had that exact same feeling. Like literally, dude, I had this one trip. I literally took like 2 grams, not even that big of a dose, and just cried. I cried for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
I just went outside, watched some birds fly past, and just like exactly like you're saying, I was crying because I felt and understood everything, but I could not explain, say, or voice.
Yeah, because it's so amazing and frustrating at the same time. Because you're like, damn, I want to write this shit down. Right. I don't know how to use a pencil right now.
Yeah, and that's where like my thought is like. There's some people like there's an author in the 80s. His name is John DiLargo. And he was a part of the Vatican Church before getting kicked out because he wrote a book where he said after studying the Dead Sea Scrolls and understanding history that the paganist cults that founded religion were just people taking shrooms, and that all of the prophecies that they were having and talking to God was really just them experiencing trips of the shrooms and trying to contemplate and understand what they experience.
Yeah, because I would tell you, I don't believe in God, but the only times that I've ever felt the presence that people speak of as God is when I'm on shrooms or on acid. 100%. But the difference is when I'm on shrooms, I feel like I can connect with God. When I'm on acid, I feel like I am a God. That's just my favorite.
and that's that conversation of synthetic versus natural at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's see, I did.
Shrooms definitely do feel much more natural because I feel like I feel much less in control of my circumstances or my trip when I'm on shrooms. If I'm on acid and I start to have a bad trip or a bad thought or someone's giving me bad vibes, I can be like, oh, this person's being weird, I'm leaving. Yeah. If I'm on shrooms, that person being weird, I'm about to be like, wait, why the hell is he being weird around me? Like
exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's interesting too. And but I'm sure it has something to do with the way both the chemicals break down in the brain, but I'm not smart enough to fucking know that. So
I'm not trying to find out. I know what they feel like.
My philosophy is like, I'm interested in the idea that you can explore and try everything once, but I pretty much stick to all natural things. Like anything that comes from the earth, I will try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's interesting. So I wanted to ask the next question I have, and the final one is, if you have one piece of advice for anyone who's listening to this that you had to leave, and that's all you could share, what would that one piece of advice be?
Do what you want, man. None of this shit fucking matters. None of it. It's everything you've ever known, everything you've ever been taught. It's all been made up at one point in time. Every word you know is made up. Every concept you know is made up. We're all just fucking here, man. You know, do what you want, because if you don't, you're gonna hate it, and the world's still gonna be shitty.
Yep.
But if you're doing what you want, at least you can find some enjoyment somewhere, you know?
That's
So
beautiful.
if you got something you want to do within reason, I guess. Don't go hurt as long as it doesn't hurt other people, I guess is the way to put it. Cause that's my biggest philosophy, man, is do whatever the fuck you want as long as you ain't hurting nobody.
Smart.
You know,
I like that. Yep.
That's the only time I feel like when rules need to be enacted is when other people are involved. You know, we got a society and a culture. We got rules for shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, man, do what the fuck you want. It ain't bothering nobody, you know?
Yeah. As long as I agreed, like as long as people had the idea and the intention of love as the foremost principle that guides them, do whatever the hell you want, and everyone would live happy.
That is a great addendum to that. Yeah. Is do whatever you want, but keep love first.
Hell yeah. I want to give you an opportunity before we finish up here, Govan. Plug yourself anywhere. Where can people find you? How can they listen to you? Where can they check you out?
Well, I got a bunch of mixes and shit on SoundCloud. It's soundcloud.com/Governor Jones, GVNR Jones. Instagram, same name, Governor Jones. I post bike rides, clips of music I'm working on, pictures of me eating stupid shit, you know, dinner, whatever. I don't really take very many pictures at the club though, because I don't know, my phone don't be out when I'm dancing. Sure. That's how you know if I had a good night. It's because there won't be shit on my Instagram story. You'll have, you know what I'm saying? Like you might have a picture of me when like a video from when I first get there.
Right.
And then it's radio silence. It's actually, yeah. So I mean, like it's on Facebook, it's Governor Jones as well. I don't know, man. I got some new music coming. Got some shows coming up. I'm playing at Dahlia in a couple weeks on the 24th. Got a couple block parties this weekend, or day parties. We're doing something for LSU. What's today? Is today Thursday? On Saturday. But yeah, man, it's just like, I don't know. I'm locked in right now. I'll be back up in Cleveland in October on the 8th, I think, with Fear and Low. And then I want to say the 15th of October, I'll be the following Friday, I'll be down in Cincinnati with Fear and Low playing with the homie Moose. And he's been on the way up, man. He just played Space Shot. That shit looked fucking crazy. That's what I'm trying to do, man. I need to get out to LA and get something popping.
Yes, you
parties
do,
look fun as hell.
LA scene, like that's insane.
That's my kind of carrying on, man. They play all that weird shit out there, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shit I like.
I hear you. Well, I want to thank you so much for being a guest today. And folks, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Make sure to go check out his music. And as always, enjoy life, live the adventure, and we'll catch you later.